My name is Onisha Smith. I want to take a break from the data that I provided previously and dive into the literature aspect. So how does parental incarceration affect children? Well, according to the Rutgers University study, while many of the risk factors children of incarcerated parents experience may be related to parental substance abuse, mental health problems, inadequate education, or other challenges, such as extreme poverty and domestic violence. Parental incarceration increases the risk of children living in poverty or experiencing household instability, independent of these other problems. Parental incarceration is now recognized as an adverse childhood experience, also known as ACE. It is distinguished from other adverse childhood experiences by the unique combination of trauma, shame, and stigma. Research shows implications that counteract with the effects I just mentioned. 2% of incarcerated fathers and 8 to 10% of mothers have children in foster care. Caring for children who are experiencing the stigma and blame associated with parental incarceration is particularly difficult for caregivers and may be taxing emotionally and physically. Information from one study on children in foster care with incarcerated parents provides the following data. 25% of children live with their fathers when a mother goes to prison. 90% of children remain with their mothers when the father is incarcerated. 50% of children with an incarcerated mother live with their grandmothers. In the child welfare system, 1 in 10 children in an in-home setting is living with someone who is on probation. About 15 to 20% of children entering the child welfare system have incarcerated parents. The demographics of the implication goes as follows. About 1 in every 5 African American children who come to the attention of child welfare agencies have a recently arrested parent, compared to only 1 in 10 white children and only 1 in 20 Hispanic children. So what are some of the trends with this issue? According to Cornell University and the Bureau of Justice, the U.S. prison population has multiplied over the last 2 decades. The number of parents in state or federal prisons has increased as well, and over 50% of current prisoners are parents. An estimated 1.7 children have a parent in prison. More than 70% of children with incarcerated parents are children of color. Incarceration increased 122% for mothers and 76% for fathers. On average, mothers have sentences 5 years shorter than those of fathers. 75% of children with an incarcerated mother have a father who has also had criminal involvement. It is also estimated that close to 500,000 parents in prison have a drug or alcohol problem, and 60% of state inmates reported using drugs the month before their arrest. Contact with incarcerated parents has a major effect on children. Several studies show the positive results of maintaining contact between the incarcerated parents, their children, and the children's caregiver. For the child, visiting and communicating with his or her parent can decrease the feelings of loss of separation, help dissolve fears or fantasies about prison by seeing it firsthand, encouraging discussion of the current situation, thereby addressing issues that could lead to shame or fear. However, caution should be exercised and taken place when promoting contact between children and their incarcerated parents, as some studies report negative results from parent-child visitation in prison. So now we're going to take a commercial break and watch a short clip, and then I will return and we will focus on the policies and legislature.
Butterfly. you.
It is said that an apple never falls too far from the tree.
Yo. Yeah, man, I'm on my way.
It is said we become what we see.
Oh, Dre, we'll be back in about 15-20, all right? Love you.
What does this mean for 2 million children of incarcerated parents? The cycle stops when you decide. Be the difference. Visit breakingthecyclenow.org.
Welcome back. We now want to turn our focus to the policies and legislature. DFAC's Policy Manual 1009.4 states an incarcerated parent retains visitation rights. It may be necessary for the county department to arrange for or to provide transportation where agency resources permit. Other forms of meaningful contact can include letters, cards, calls, etc. Services to maintain and nurture parent-child relationships. DFACS has a responsibility to facilitate appropriate contact between parents and children. While the nature, frequency, and duration of the contact may vary with the age of the child and the parent's progress towards solving the problems that led to child's placement in foster care. Contact is critical to maintaining their relationships and preparing for reunification. For children of incarcerated parents, such contact can be infrequent, unpredictable, and of poor quality. Many states, including Georgia, have adopted the Bill of Rights, which was developed in San Francisco, the Children of Incarcerated Parents Partnerships. This bill consists of a coalition of social service providers, representatives of government bodies, advocates, and others who work to improve the lives of children of incarcerated parents and to increase awareness of these children, their needs, and their strengths. The Children of Incarcerated Parents Bill of Rights states, I have the right to be kept safe and informed at the time of my parents' arrest. I have the right to be heard when decisions are made about me. I have the right to be considered when decisions are made about my parent. I have the right to be well cared for in my parents' absence. I have the right to speak with, see, and touch my parent. I have the right to support as I struggle with my parents' incarceration. I have the right not to be judged, blamed, or labeled because I have an incarcerated parent. And I have the right to a lifelong relationship with my parent. So now we ask the question, what can the legislature do to provide collaboration among the stakeholders that must be involved in efforts to improve the lives of children of incarcerated parents? Well, according to the National Conference of State Legislatures, policy actions require the active involvement of multiple systems working together to achieve positive results for the children of imprisoned parents. As in other areas of human services, however, such collaboration may first require action on the part of policymakers, including state legislatures. Some experts on children of incarcerated parents have noted that legislation is needed at both the state and federal levels to fully address the complex range of issues facing incarcerated parents and their children. So let us take a look at the collaboration. An initial approach legislatures might consider is a broad statement of legislative intent that the relationship between the incarcerated parent and his or her child should be recognized, preserved, and strengthened when in the best interest of the child. Such statement of intent could be coupled with two requirements. The first one is that all systems that touch the lives of such children and parents, including law enforcement, corrections, child welfare, education, and the judiciary jointly assess the effects of their policies, programs, and practices on children of incarcerated parents. And secondly, that these various state agencies undertake to collect, share, analyze, and regularly report on data regarding children of incarcerated parents to better understand the service needs and the needs of their caregivers. Also, collaborations between foster care children and their incarcerated parents, according to the Government Accountability Office, federal law sets timelines for states' decisions about placing foster care children in permanent homes, and in some cases, for filing to terminate parental rights. Some policymakers have questioned the reasonableness of these timelines for children of incarcerated parents and expressed interest in how states work with these families. Foster care children with an incarcerated parent are not a well-defined population, although they are likely to number in the tens of thousands. HHS data collected from the states show that in 2009 alone, more than 14,000 children entered foster care due to at least partly to the incarceration of a parent. Correction agencies and child welfare agencies have collaborated, which has resulted in some training for personnel, the creation of liaison staff positions, and video visitation facilitated by the nonprofit providers. So now we can turn our attention to the programs in Atlanta, Georgia regarding children with incarcerated parents. But first, let's hear from Robert from the American Institutes of Research on the needs of these certain programs.
We're at a point where in our history we've never had this many people incarcerated. We've created a problem that we don't actually know what to do with. And we know that one of the collateral consequences is that now we have all these children, right? Nearly 2 million children who have a parent that's in prison. When kids have a parent that's incarcerated, so there's the disruption in the home, but also, they may have been involved in, they may have seen their parents be arrested in the home. There may be some trauma that has occurred because of that. These kids struggle sometimes to be able to focus on school. They're going to travel today to go visit their parent in prison, right? And that's going to be traumatic for them. They're going to have to leave their parents there in prison, and they're going to have to go the next day and be in school, right? And so then the teacher's going to be concerned about, did you get your homework done? Why aren't you participating in class? Or, those things that nobody knows what the kid's going through outside of school. But a mentor can help them get their homework done, help them with tutoring, help them in terms of being able to put into context, put into perspective what's going on at home and how that is not necessarily have to influence what's happening at schools. This is really about providing them with a positive adult role model that cares about them and can be there for them and is somebody that's going to help them figure out how they're going to move forward in their life and thrive.
Welcome back. So now let's take a look at some of the programs that I discovered in Georgia. First, we have Forever Family, which is located in Southwest Atlanta. This program works to ensure that no matter what the circumstances, all children have the opportunity to be surrounded by the love of family. They focus their efforts on children with incarcerated parents and support them as their parents, caregivers, and extended families work to remain a family. Second, we have Safe House Outreach, which is located in Atlanta, Georgia. This is a mentoring program mentoring children of incarcerated parents. Safe House Outreach provides practical, emotional, and physical assistance to those living in the margins and help integrate them back into society to lead healthy, functional lives. Third, we have Kids to Leaders, which is located in Marietta, Georgia. This program exists to help change the lives of children of incarcerated parents and to break the vicious cycle of incarceration. They help them rise above their circumstances, teach them to become leaders, and provide a life of hope through Christianity, programming, and a fun environment. And lastly, we have Big Brothers Big Sisters of the Heart of Georgia. This program is on a national stage. This program has been serving the youth for over 60 years, just alone in Georgia. Big Brothers Big Sisters has operated under the belief that every child has the ability to succeed and thrive in life. As the nation's largest donor and volunteer-supported mentoring network, Big Brothers Big Sisters make meaningful and monitored matches between adults and children, which the adults would be called the bigs and the children would be called the littles. And these children aged through 6 to 18, and they help communities across the country. Their mission is to provide children facing adversity with strong and enduring, professionally supported, one-to-one relationships that change their lives for the better and forever. So, in closing, what are some solutions and evidence-based practices? Well, according to the National Conference of State Legislation, the many issues that face children of incarcerated parents and their families are complex and cross the judicial boundaries of multiple agencies and service systems. So in addition, thoughtful policymaking in this area is hindered by the lack of reliable data on the characteristics of these children and an insufficient of sound research on both the effects of parental incarceration and the effectiveness of interventions. Nevertheless, a growing number of state policymakers are taking an active interest in helping children of incarcerated parents. An overview of the research literature here has no solid evidence that parental incarceration predicts later life incarceration among children of incarcerated parents. Despite the widespread belief that children of incarcerated parents are many times more likely than other children to be incarcerated as adults, there is no research evidence to support this assumption. Researcher Po Kim addresses areas for further research. More research is needed comparing children with incarcerated parents to children in similar economic and social conditions who do not have a parent in prison, in order to determine whether incarceration is simply correlated with developmental and behavioral problems or if it is just a direct cause. There is still a lot of research that needs to be done on this issue, especially in Georgia, because I did have a difficult time trying to just find current data within Atlanta, Georgia, and that's why I kind of reverted to a national scope. Policies and programs can address some of these issues, but not all of them. Some of the barriers children face in contact is with their incarcerated parents. So that's all I have for you guys today. Thank you so much for taking up the time to listen, and hopefully you got some insight on this issue. And once again, thank you so much.